It's part of a well-crafted effort to, as I quote my book, John Holbert, Barack Obama's science advisor, de-develop the United States of America. That's what they want to do. That's what Barack Obama wants to do. We've got to stop this madness. We've got to stop the bill. Go ahead.
Jan Ledoux.
Jan. Okay, now everybody's got to be really quick, okay? Mr. Sussman starting to fade. Okay, go.
Well, I think it took us a long time to get into this condition in this country, and I know that the Tea Party represents a lot of us that woke up.
Yes.
My biggest concern, though, is this. Barack Obama comes along, nobody knows who he is, he hasn't done anything.
Right.
He's got money up the yin-yang to all of a sudden be president,
right.
and we can't find out anything about him.
Right.
I feel like there's this machine
yes.
that's bigger than me.
Yes.
And so, even though I've woken up, I don't know if I have the confidence that us voting in November is enough.
Well,
I'm afraid that, I don't know, but can we actually stop? How long would it take us to stop what they've actually already done in 1 year?
I'm going to address that just for a moment. Thank you. Go ahead, please, Jackson.
Shall we take just one more question?
You're the boss. I don't want to be the bad guy.
Guys, you got a lot of books to sign here.
Yeah, that's good. And yes,
Angela Nolan.
Hi, Brian. Someone told me that you were much more dynamic in person than on the radio. I'm happy to confirm that's true.
Thank you.
My question is,
I love public speaking. I love it.
my question is, and I don't know if you can answer this, but we hear all these statistics about who of the scientists believe in global warming and which ones don't. Do you have any real statistics on that?
In the book, I do talk about that at length. No, very seriously, I have a chapter called The Myth of Consensus. The Myth of Consensus. And there is no consensus. Do you want consensus? Oh, go to the people who study the sun, astrophysicists. They all believe that any warming on this planet, past, present, or future, is caused by the big ball of fire in the sky. There's consensus there. Okay, now, can somebody give me a copy of my book really quick? I want to close this out, just quickly. Thank you. It's a rush to the stage. Thank you, sister. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. I received a letter from a gentleman some time ago, and this man was named Alan, and I'm just going to read to you from the book here, and then a challenge. If you want to read along, I'm on 215. How then shall we respond? Recently, I received a delightful handwritten letter from a gentleman named Alan, who wanted me to tell him, I can't read this, who wanted to tell me about his hero. Alan is 85, and his hero, Stan, 84. In 1945, while fighting the Nazis in the bloody Battle of the Bulge, Stan was struck with a bullet and paralyzed. Despite his fate, he went on to marry a wonderful nurse, adopt a beautiful daughter, get his MBA, and become vice president for Bank of America. Never once, Alan wrote me in this letter, did Stan ever complain about anything. See, he was part of the greatest generation. Alan served with Stan in the 11th Armored Division during his historic battle, describing himself to me, writing, "I've never received a Purple Heart. I was a survivor, not a hero." I phoned Alan after receiving his letter and invited him to be a guest on my radio program. He accepted, and we had a most remarkable and enlightening conversation. Alan described in detail Stan's character, the courage of his fellow soldiers, the showmanship of General Patton. I'll never forget when he told me about that. And the gut-wrenching liberation of the Mauthausen concentration camp. And he went into great detail. It was just awful what he had to see and what they had to endure. Toward the end of our phone conversation, I asked Alan about the present condition of America as he saw us racing towards unprecedented government expansion, unpayable debt, and liberty-sapping policies. You've lived a very full life, Alan. You've seen it all. You've dodged Nazi bullets. You've shed tears of 1,000. You returned home a hero, raised a family with your beautiful wife, and now you're witnessing your very own country being so deceived. Brian, Alan said without hesitation, it's 1938, and the United States is Germany. Alan's sobering statement later caused me to reflect on a great concentration camp survivor I read about by the name of Martin Niemöller. I go into Niemöller's life a bit, and then on page 217, I talk about Niemöller, who said, "Then they came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did not speak out. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak out for me." I go then to page 218 and I say, every American citizen is going to have to make a decision for him or herself. What are we going to do? What are we going to do here, ladies and gentlemen? What are we going to do? This is unprecedented. My father, who I talk about in the book, is not alive to see this, and I've got news for you. He would be downright ticked off. He risked his life during World War II, just like Alan and Stan did, and he's watching it get turned upside down before him. Every American decision, I say it is crucial to our nation's survival that we understand our own government is pulling a coup d'etat right under our very noses by recklessly disregarding the law of our land and the U.S. Constitution and effectively usurping the power of we, the American people. Tyrannical conditions are quickly becoming frighteningly similar to the conditions of our nation experienced in its gestation period with King George's England in 1776. This is supposed to be a good book on global warming, you're asking. No, this is a book on stopping the tyranny, ladies and gentlemen, that's being conducted in the name of the environment. I realize that the thought of this kind of thing, I realize that the thought that this kind of thing can happen and is happening in the greatest nation in the history of the world is a tough pill to swallow, because after all, these kinds of things are only supposed to happen in other communist/socialist/fascist countries and not in the country of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Curtailing this stunning loss of freedom is going to take a brave and godly response from those who recognize the signs of the dark times in which we're living. A resolute response on par with that of our courageous forefathers, with Martin Niemöller, with Alan, with Stan, and all the great men and women of history who stood against tyranny. Ladies and gentlemen, may God give us the grace to do what is right. I don't know what that looks like for you. I can tell you right now what it looks like for me. I'm not stopping talking on the radio until they kick me off. I don't know what your life is going to look like going forward, but you know what? It may be something radically different in terms of your level of activism, or running for office, or digging into your pockets to support great candidates. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm challenging you. We've got to do something. I was at a book signing this weekend, and a dear woman came up, and it was Alan's daughter. And she said, "My dad never talked about his experience in World War II until he got on your radio show. We'd never heard the story before. And he was so proud to be talking to Suss. And he was stricken with cancer at the time. And he started telling his grandkids and his sons and daughters about his experience. And he died just a couple months ago. He never got to see the book come out. But she bought a bunch of copies, and she made sure everybody in her crew got one. And I was so pleased, and I was so honored to be an American, to be full of hope, to know that we have a great underpinning of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we're not going to let go. And I'm honored to be with you tonight. Thank you all very much. I appreciate this. I'm honored. Richard, thank you. What a great group. God bless you guys. Thank you very much.